You know what I want to say?
What?
Lauren, we are survivors.
I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
I don't really know the lyrics either.
What is it? I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. See, it's not proper English. That's why. It's not proper grammatical English.
No, but it makes sense to me because I barely speak proper grammatical English. Surviving festivals.
Oh, God.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
the
NeuroNerds.
Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
So in case you guys didn't know, in our little Neuro Nook cave, right?
Yeah, this is definitely the Neuro Nook.
And it's awesome. We don't have a camera, but I think we need to because there are some shenanigans that Joe and I get up to that are, let's just be serious, fucking fantabulous.
Oh, without question.
And then they're always hilarious. And then we get sad because we're like, oh, we didn't record this.
Yeah, we didn't record any of that. Oh, man. And I'd like to say, oh, that's just for us. But we both had brain injuries, so I'm not really sure if we're going to remember any of this.
I know.
As of right now, epic.
Yes.
So
capital E. That was not an E.
It was not at all. Capital pick, right? So pick. So what are we talking about today, Lauren?
Epic survival.
Tips and tricks?
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yes. Epic survival tips and tricks today.
So Coachella is coming up. And last year I made it to Coachella, which is awesome.
But maybe we have listeners in 40 countries, right?
Oh, we do.
You might not know what Coachella is.
So Coachella,
and I'm so proud if you don't.
No, Coachella's awesome. Coachella is like the biggest music festival that we have down here. It's kind of like today's version of like Woodstock, right?
Oh, please, let's not put it on the level of epic Woodstock.
Yeah, it's a bunch of dirty, stinky people. Yeah, right?
Lots of drugs everywhere?
Oh, there's so
and
many.
Occasionally some music?
There's so many. No, there's like nonstop music. So that's what the tips and tricks and survival episode is all about. So we're talking about like how to survive things like that. Not necessarily just Coachella. This is just brings it up to like these big things that us brain injury survivors have to deal with.
Yeah, and anywhere that you might be going, it's not something you do regularly. It's like an event, a weekend of, if you're going for work, you're going to a convention for work, you're going to Comic-Con, you're going to Anime Expo, something like that, where it's going to be it can be a couple of hours to a couple of days of like literally nonstop overstimulation. Let's be real. Those of us with brain injury, overstimulation, we live that way like 24/7.
Oh my gosh.
And that's just in normal life.
That's just waking
where we can
up.
where we can almost control the environment, right? That's already, we're susceptible to overstimulation.
Right,
now throw in
lights, noises,
and
people.
lots of people touching you.
Oh my God, I don't like to be touched.
Personal space. That's very American of us, but personal space.
That's why I don't get massages. I don't like strange people touching me.
Oh, I actually had a massage the other day. It was good, but I was like disappointed because it was not my...
Disappointed!
Yes! Hercules! Uber episode. No, yeah. So I was a little disappointed because it wasn't my massage therapist. And I was like, meh.
So a friend of the show, Brian, super awesome, incredible dude. He did something major and awesome. Like he traveled, I think it was to Toronto. Again, I had a brain injury. I might be getting it wrong. To see a band, like to see a concert. Like it was like a big deal. And Brian suffers from aphasia and he's like documenting like his recovery. It's super inspiring. It's super amazing. And just to see him like, I'm going to do this and and he did it and he went and it looked awesome. It looked like he had a lot of fun. But like all of these things are massive steps like in our recovery.
Yeah.
And it takes so much energy, mental energy to like visualize for me how I got through Coachella. Because basically your most average, regular, mundane, boring day is crazy overstimulating.
Yeah.
It's so much. It's so overwhelming, let alone something with 100,000 people and lights and sounds and touches and smelly, stinky, and dirty people.
Dust and heat and sunlight.
No, really, because Coachella is hot. It's the desert.
It takes place out in the desert here in California. It's in the Coachella Valley, hence Coachella. But yeah.
Oh, is that how it got its name?
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, so you have like every stimulus. There's like nothing that's at a baseline really. Everything is like an extreme of something, an extreme amount of people, an extreme amount of heat, an extreme amount of dust.
Oh, and at night,
everything's expensive.
An extreme amount of cold. It was so cold.
It's a desert. It's a high desert.
So I knew this was going to be a thing. Like I knew all about it. I knew like, okay, I've been to Coachella before. I know what it is, but I've never been like post brain injury, post new Joe who gets like overstimulated walking my dog. So I like mentally prepared for, I don't know, it seemed like weeks. And I just visualized every outcome, being stuck in traffic, human traffic, just like walking from one stage to the next stage. You know, figuring out, okay, well, when we go eat, there's not like a place to sit down and quietly enjoy your meal. You're standing, you're getting bumped, you're
by your 20,000 best friends.
Seriously, it's so weird, you know? And I think most conversations that take place at Coachella they just consist of loud noises.
Yeah, loud noises and where can I buy Molly?
Yes, yes. No. Where can I buy it for free? Don't do drugs, people.
Yeah,
drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad.
So,
especially for brain injuries. Drugs are bad.
Yeah, definitely. So the lights were something I didn't really take into account because like taken in consideration because lights don't really mess with me. At night when I'm driving, the lights going by, it would kind of like, you know, it throws me off, but it doesn't like make me go into panic mode like noises do. So I had my Beats by Dre. I think that's what these are called, right? These little this headset thing that I have, right?
They look like it, yeah.
They look like yeah. So
sponsor us.
that'd be dope. So I have them in my ears, like those of you who listen to the show or know me at all. Basically, 24 hours a day, I have my headphones in, and it's not because I'm listening to music. I have them in because it blocks out a lot of the background noise. So that was the biggest help in my concert going because there was just so much noise, and I don't want to block out the noise. I just want to block out the excess noise. So when I have these in, I can hear the concert, I can hear the people who I'm talking to in front of me, but it's all the extra ambient noise.
It's like a nice filter, kind of dulls it down.
It does. It's just like, you know, all the stuff that we put in this room to kind of like buffer some of the sound. That's what it is. It buffers the sound, and it made it tremendously, you know, it made it so much easier for me. The lights, on the other hand, was a lot. It was 2 or 3 times where I was like, I think I'm going to swallow my tongue. This is
You should wear sunglasses so then you can go, I wear my sunglasses at night so I can.
So I thought about that.
Yeah.
I thought about that recently. You know, I went to like this Oscar. Wait, was it the Oscars recently?
Yeah.
Yes. I went to like an Oscar party thing and I had my headphones in, but the lights were like, it was really messing with me. And I think I told Felice in sleep, and I was like, you know, I wish I was like that pretentious dude that I could just wear sunglasses at night in a club and a party. I'm just not that dude. And also,
I think you need to become that dude.
But when you have sunglasses on in any dark place, you're gonna trip and bump into things.
No, that's why you have someone hold your arm. You get sleep on one side and you have Fell on the other.
Yeah, you heard that, sleep. You have to hold my arm.
You have to hold his hand.
so that's what I think.
Or you hire someone.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just hire somebody and you can give me a piggyback ride.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
I
If you pay someone enough, they might.
Hey, Joe has no shame. I'll be piggybacked around clubs and parties. So for me, the sound, using my headphones to block out the sound is the biggest tip and help for me. Maybe wearing sunglasses at these events to block out like the I always say noise.
It's a type of noise. It's like visual noise.
It's a perfect. Because I always say noise when it comes to, you know, visual things like, oh, there was this flash and it was like, oh yeah, it's so much noise. To me, it's loud. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, I guess, to us brain injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, the visual noise, they'll block out the visual noise and kind of like, you know, it'll help you breathe. Meditation was a big help. Visualization, just knowing, okay, I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. So like knowing like worst case scenarios.
Okay. So that was I was going to ask you is, so I don't suffer it as much, like to that intensity, but my, I guess I would wonder is if you over prepared, like you over scheduled, over planned, like down to like the nitty gritty minute. And then when you're at these festivals, sometimes you can't, especially because like if you're trying to get an Uber somewhere and you're waiting an hour, like, and that's going to throw off your plans. How would you, like, what's a good happy medium for the planning aspect of it?
Just knowing that no matter how much you game plan, everything changes when you get punched in the face.
And what do you do when you get punched in the face? How do you right your ship?
You roll with the punches. You know it's not
on
the
the
end
floor?
of the yeah. After you cry, after you throw a little hissy fit and panic attack.
Don't hit back.
No, you don't. Yeah,
well, actually, you should.
You should hit back.
Don't start the fight, but you goddamn well finish it.
Yeah, you absolutely hit them when they're down. Right? No? Is that our theme? Kicking people when they're on the floor? No? Okay. So yeah, because everything, you have this game plan, you have this outline,
Mhm.
but then when it actually happens, sometimes it's nowhere near anything you prepared for.
So how would you recommend for someone, like, let's say they're like, some of our listeners, they might go on a convention for work, and those are pretty
They
structured,
are.
right? Like you have your time you fly in, you have your meetings scheduled out for the day, blah, blah, blah. But things happen. And those of us that thrive on structure, if you like, a lot of people, if they have any sort of deviation, I know this is for you as well, to the
Yes.
routine, it's like, danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So,
That's exactly how I
right,
feel.
right. So how would you suggest for someone, especially in an environment like a music festival or something where it's like, you can't really change it, like you have to roll with it? What is your advice for that?
Okay, that's where meditation comes in and
Do you just-
visualization.
I was like, do you recommend people just plop down on the floor and meditate?
It's so having the headphones in was
Yeah.
helpful because I could literally so I have them, I don't know, like 3/4 in my ear
Mhm.
because, it like however much noise I need to block out. I have them all the way in my ear. They're basically like earplugs.
Yeah.
So that just brings down all the noise, but you still have the stimuli of
Mhm.
everything that's going around you.
Mhm.
But if you could just take a breath and you at least block out that,
Mhm.
it's very helpful to like gain your thoughts.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff going on, but if you just like focus in on one thing, whether it's your phone, your hands, the floor, whatever it is, you can focus in and be like, okay, this is what was supposed to happen. This is what was gonna happen. None of that is happening.
Mhm.
This is now happening. And that's where radical acceptance comes in, where you can't fight it. Resistance is pain.
Resistance is futile.
No, kind of is. Because
In
like,
that instance.
yeah, because if you resist it, like, well, we were supposed to do this, it was what, yeah, but it's not.
Yeah,
So
and you can't change it.
yeah, so you're now stuck on it. So, okay, it happened, accept it, and then move on. The quicker that happens, the quicker you can actually move on. But if you keep on focusing in, and the Uber was supposed to be there, and then it
Mhm.
canceled, but it was supposed to, it didn't.
Yeah.
So now what are we doing now?
Mhm.
So immediately, radical acceptance is first and foremost after you block out like whatever extra noise there is,
Mhm.
and then immediately try to re-game plan.
Yeah.
Revisualize like what's happening now, what's happening right now.
And if you're in a situation, like, again, I keep going back to like, if you're at a work convention or something, because sometimes you don't travel with a group. Like if you're going to a festival or you're going somewhere with friends, like you can rely on them and be like, okay, can you just deal with this? Because I'm having a moment and I
Yeah.
can't deal with it. And if you are with friends and something sets you off or something is freaking you out, communicate. Communication is key.
It is.
Tell the people you're with, you're having a moment, or you can't, like, this is like too much, you can't deal with it. I've straight up told people, I'm like, you know what? I can't, like that. I can't deal with this. I'm cool to do whatever, handle it. I can't do it.
This is where acceptance comes
Yes.
in. Accept that you can't do certain things.
Yes.
Also, accept whatever it is that like whatever
outcome.
limitation that you have.
Mhm.
Accept that, and the people that you're going with, they should know this.
Yeah. So you just communicate. But there are some times when you might be going somewhere by yourself that you
Oh.
can't. Like, again, maybe you're at a work convention, you go to Anime Expo by yourself, which I have done.
Nerd.
Yeah. Maybe you go to Disneyland by yourself and your favorite ride is closed. I don't know. That might affect you. But then what do you do? So the idea, what I like the idea of what Joe is saying, like you have to take a moment to kind of like it's kind of a type of grounding or meditation. So you take a moment to be pissed off. I mean, honor that moment, like have a moment, be like, fuck. Like,
Like you're allowed to be there.
Yeah.
Just don't get stuck.
Yeah. So have a moment to stomp your feet. What I would recommend is if you're in a meeting or something or on the break, take a moment, like excuse yourself, go like around the corner. Cause I've had to do this at work where things just didn't work and I was about to kill people. So I was like, I need to like have a minute. So like take yourself around a corner, maybe go up a flight of stairs or something to a different floor or walk outside. Best thing to do would probably be is to walk outside and get some sunlight on you. But then like take a moment to like sit down. And if you can sit down like on grass, right? Or something not concrete
Right. You're at one
or
with nature.
asphalt. Yeah. You want to somehow get there. But let's say there's no grass or anything.
Go
like
hug a tree.
go find Groot. No, but like get some sunlight on you, just some moving air and take a moment and like connect to whatever that sensation is. So connect to the ground, connect to the sun or some breeze like blowing against your face or something, just to have that little natural element distraction.
Right.
Take a breath or two, acknowledge, like Joe says, this sucks. This wasn't what's supposed to happen, but it's happening.
Right.
How can I move with this? Now,
Right.
a lot of us are control freaks. blue.
Yeah, a lot of us name Lauren Manzano.
I had to go to therapy to accept that.
100% of Lauren L. Manzanos are control freaks.
But you know what? I've accepted I'm a control freak, and I'm working on letting the things that I can't control go.
That's good.
So yeah, that's my progress. My therapist would be proud.
Hey, growth.
Right. She's not tied up in a basement in my house. But acknowledge like you can't change, especially if you're part of a program. You as an individual can't change it for the other 400 people that are there.
Right.
So, you're just going to have to say, fine, it's going to go like this. And then what I would do, power through and then just plan for whatever self-care ritual you do for the end of the day. So that way you can look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like, I can't wait for this Epsom salt bath.
Yeah. You're like, I have to get through this next 2 hours of bullshit because Karen did not make the photocopy. So now we have to go watch PowerPoint presentation.
Damn it, Karen.
Right? Sorry, Karens. Anyone who's Karen out there. But something happens like that. And then you have to go on a fly or now you have to present or something. Power through.
Yep.
And then treat yourself. This is 2019. Treat yourself. Okay.
Treat yourself 2019.
Yeah. So maybe you're going to maybe you weren't going to get a glass of wine. Maybe at the end of the night, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to go have half a glass of wine, go take a hot bath and binge watch some Parks and Recs. Like whatever it takes instead of having to go out to that company meeting.
Right. Instead of a half a glass, why not a full bottle and some heroin?
Oh my God.
Boom. No,
guys,
don't do drugs.
Don't follow Joe's advice.
Drugs are
guys, disclaimer.
Disclaimer, the NeuroNerds do not endorse or promote drug use in any way, including heroin. Don't listen to Joe. He had a stroke.
You guys know I'm an idiot. You guys get it. Yeah. So
he's scaring our new intern.
I'm not even gonna lie. It's absolutely true. Radical asset. It sucks right now, but yeah, I'm getting through this and I can't wait to do the things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like always something to look forward to. Like this sucks. You know what sucks? Half of the Marvel, the MCU, half of it is dust right now.
Why?
That sucks. That sucks so bad.
Why?
Do you want to know what's to look forward to?
Why?
A resolution, right? How are they going to bring back Bucky? How are they going to bring back Scarlet Witch?
Oh my
How
God.
are they going to bring
That's
these
our
characters
next
back?
episode. Stop it.
Yeah. But there's always something to look forward to. So as much as it sucks right now, I was just thinking about that. So I was in occupational therapy. My occupational therapist, Kaylee, who's going to be on the show at some point, who's really, really nervous.
Oh my God.
So Kaylee's so nervous, she's actually recruited another occupational therapist to come on the show with her to be like her bodyguard. I don't know. So
her handler.
but it's okay. I've got Lauren to threaten both of them.
I just have to cross my arms and glare ominously.
No, so she had
and
this,
then giggle.
Yes, that's the creepiest part. So what's really cool is during one of my sessions, she had me make essential oils.
Ooh.
And one of them was for sleep,
Mm-hmm.
not for like sleep, like
not music department.
not our music department sleep. So she made one that I spray on my pillowcase.
How do you say sleep in Spanish?
Noche, right?
That's nighttime.
Yeah. How do you say? So I gave him a nickname. I call him Noche all the time. How do you say sleep in Spanish?
Well, the verb is dormir.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. It's Noche. Noche is his nickname.
But that would be cool if his name was dormir.
Dormir.
Yeah.
That sounds like a planet that Thor
Or
is going to
duerme.
travel to.
Duerme.
Right? So she had me do essential oils.
Oh my God, it does dormir.
Dormir, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so sleep in Spanish is a planet.
That's pretty close. Not bad.
So the essential oils I made, it was great occupationally for my right hand to like get all the stuffs in or whatever. It was great for sleep. There was one for when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Mhm.
It's a grounded scent. I gotta tell you, I hate the way it smells. But
That's because you need grounding and your body's going, no.
But I do. So it's this little roller. And
Yep.
apparently, so I roll it on. And if I just need to be grounded, I smell that and it brings me down, the scents that are in there.
Mhm.
So I didn't have that for Coachella, but that's something that you guys can do. Check out essential oils. There's something about these scents. There's something about, I don't know.
Well, you know how a scent can bring back a really good memory and stuff. So particular scents can trigger parts of our brains, right? So some can trigger happiness, some can trigger disgust. When you smell like trash or sewage, you're like, ew.
Right. Most DC movies.
Yeah, right.
Boom.
No, most. Yeah, we'll go with
Suicide Squad. Hate.
No, remember, we're going to like Suicide Squad with our new headcanon.
We are.
Yeah,
We are.
where Joker is Jason Todd. Right?
Damn right.
Yep.
It better be.
Yeah. But same thing where these, you can trigger the pleasure centers of your brain with these scents, but you can also trigger calming scents. Lavender is a really good one.
So lavender is in
Yeah.
my nighttime.
Yep.
spray that I spray on the pillow.
Yeah.
And peppermint is one to perk you up.
Yes,
right?
because that's why like peppermint tea is good for your tummy. Peppermint, you can put like if you have a headache, with certain peppermint oils on the temples.
Yeah, peppermint oils and eucalyptus, I believe. Those are good. I know that because I used to suffer from high blood pressure migraines that I thought were just regular migraines.
No, that was a sign that you are going to have a hole in your head. But no, so that's really cool. You know, essential oils might not be for you. That's totally cool. Some people think it's a little woo woo, which I guess to a point it kind of is. It's a little more Eastern medicine, holistic.
It is. Deal with it. It's here to stay.
Yeah,
hey, so
combine the two, Western and Eastern, holistic.
Absolutely. I mean, these things are time proven ingredients for a reason.
Yeah,
you know?
and even like some people was like, well, what if it's just a placebo effect? Do we care?
So what?
If you're feeling better,
if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm drinking water or vodka. If I feel happy and drunk, I'm in.
There you go.
Right?
Right?
So
I'm just going to tell Joe it's vodka. Or tell him it's just water.
No. Tell me it's gin. It's my favorite alcohol. So for me, it's going to like these events, these concerts. Actually, for me, I had to do the same thing when I hosted Live on Green at the end of last year, where I had to like, picture this whole thing and walk my way through it mentally. You, on the other hand, you perform. Like I performed at basically, emceeing that event. I was performing. I was like, hey, me. But you perform. Like you are the center stage. You're on this big stage. You're on this giant pole. You're literally, there's lights, there's cameras, there's hundreds of people staring at you. Oh, by the way, staring at you half butt naked.
Yep.
So obviously you have no shame. But how do you deal with that? Especially,
I have a little more than you.
No, yeah, you know what? That's very true. I'm barely wearing anything right now.
Oh my God. Guys, you can't see it, but there's like, it feels like sensor bars right now in front of Joe. It's amazing.
Yeah, because I'm wearing a thong and an eye patch. Boom,
making me jealous.
So for you specifically, because you've done this, you've just been, you performed, you fought in front of X amount of people, you've trained, you've done a pole expos, and you've danced for an hour. You've done this all pre-concussion.
I've done pre and post.
So post-concussion, you now suffer from anxiety that you've never had.
Yes.
How do you deal with that now? Doing the same thing in front of so many eyes, with so much stimulation going on. Like what are your tips and tricks for that?
Wow. Yeah, that's when we were talking about this episode, I was like, oh yeah, I totally didn't even like consciously think about the difference. But
you totally turned into Fargo right now. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, so like I would always feel like any like rational person, you should feel a little bit nervous before you go in the ring, before you take the stage. Anytime, you should always feel a little like, oh, okay, whew. If you don't have the jitters before you're going on stage, or
you might be a sociopath.
No, that usually means you're not going to have your best performance, or you're going to get hurt. Because when you're a little nervous, a little shaky, you become more present in your body and you're more hyper aware. So then, like, at least like I for pole, like I'm not going to fall 12 feet from the ceiling, right?
I still think that you should be in a helmet when you're on the pole.
Well, maybe I'll dedicate my next pole piece and with a helmet be about brain injury awareness.
You could put like Viking horns on it.
Oh my God, that'd be fabulous. But so, pre-concussion, that was something I dealt with, but it was always minor. And it was like, okay, it's just jitters. So now what I have noticed is like, I do have to have a little bit of a routine. I do have to have a little bit of like more preparation. So not only do I have to make sure like I have a checklist of all my things I need to bring for the day, make sure I have enough food to get me through. Cause like this year, just like last year, I'm competing on one day, which is great, but I have one performance at 9 a.m. and the last performance is at 5 p.m. I'm the last performer of the day.
That sucks.
But my students so charmingly put it as, it's okay, Lauren, you're there to shut it down. You're the finale. And I'm like,
you're the Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
you're
I'm like,
close
all
this so
right.
much down.
All right. It's good. I'm going to have hot shirtless men on stage. It's going to be fabulous.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to be on stage. Come on, arrogant Joe.
Oh my God. I'll just get last place. I'm just kidding. But no, so that helps. So what I have noticed is like, I also can't judge the feelings. So that's the other thing, when you have radical acceptance, but that's also like pre-issue. So let's say everything goes according to plan.
Right.
You do roll with it because things do change backstage. You might have to be going up half hour soon. You might be delayed by an hour. They might take a break and you're like, I'm ready to go on. And so like what I know is I do have to have some time to warm up and stretch, of course, but then like to relax and like listen to music. I have 2 playlists. I have my like get her done, pump it up, like stretching and woo, I feel great playlist. And then I have my like calm the fuck down and breathe deeply, kind of like silence the crazy kind of like
Right.
playlist.
You should probably be listening to that at least 23 hours a day.
Right. So there's that. But what I have noticed is since post-concussion and since I've become more and more successful in the pole world, I've had more and more of my own students competing. And so what ends up happening is I'm responsible for them. I'm not. They're grown-ass people.
Right.
But
you feel that sense of responsibility.
Yeah, I'm their coach. I'm their pole or dance mama.
You're the mentor.
Exactly. So I need to be there to make sure I have my shit on straight so I can take care of their insanity.
Yeah, hey, man, Superman isn't panicking. Yeah. Wait, Superman's panicking?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Exactly. And I've had a student basically tell me that. She says, I would be panicking right now, but you're not. And then I'm like on the inside going,
yeah, I'm not panicking at all.
Yeah, now I'm panicking. So what I think would be something really useful, like let's say you're going to go be on stage. Let's say you're giving a presentation. You're having a TED Talk. Hi, Mimi. I hope you get that.
Damn right, Mimi.
Mimi, get that TED Talk. But I think if maybe you make it a little bit bigger than yourself, make it something a little bit bigger. It's not just you going on stage, whether you're there showing your message. I always tell people you have to have a why when you're going to go on stage for anything or you're going to fight. Why the fuck are you doing this? Because like, okay, for competing for dance is hard. Dance is a subjective art. Any art is subjective.
Right. It's art.
Right. And so I always tell my students, why the hell are you going on stage and subjecting yourself to judgment? Because a lot of times with art, especially movement.
Because most people are sadists.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They're masochists. Sadomasochists. So I always tell people, as long as you know your why, and it's usually beyond, well, I want to win. Very few people actually go, I've noticed at least in my clients, go on stage to compete for pole because they want to win.
Right.
Like that's usually the cursory level. And so it's like, what is your deeper meaning? Why do you want to be there? That's going to keep you sane.
What is my meaning?
Right?
My reason?
The competition after my brain injury, the one I actually did compete in 2017. This is how I know my brain injury was 2015. I wanted to quit so much because it was so damn hard. And I trained the hardest probably I had in my life. I haven't trained that hard again since, but it was really hard. But I remember I kept thinking about why am I doing this? And it was because to show that I could, that I had given up. I had had a brain injury and it wasn't a give up. I had dropped out.
You're like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
Why'd you climb that mountain?
Yeah.
Because it was there.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much that it was there. It was showing myself I could do it and I could do it well again. I could come back from a brain injury and the brain injury wasn't going to stop me.
You know what? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's motivating as fuck.
Yeah. Like that was my whole rationale. And my goal was not to win. I didn't care. I was like, I just want to go on stage and have the best run through and show my style despite my brain not being friendly to me at the time. And it still brings me a little emotional,
That's awesome. But how did you feel doing it?
Oh my God.
Because it's one thing, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
It's another thing, I'm now in this moment.
Oh my God. I was nervous as fuck. I was backstage shaking. And so in order to trick my brain when I'm shaking from nerves to get on stage, I shimmy backstage. So I like out shimmy the shakes. So I out shake the shakes. That's how I warm up is push-ups and shimmies backstage, like right before I go on when I'm on deck.
Is that why you have such a strong upper body?
No, that's just from Paul. But I remember, and it was interesting. I had a student of mine that was going on right before me and we were competing against each other. It was hilarious, but I had coached her.
And now the student becomes the teacher.
Yeah. People ask me like, well, how's that feel? I said, honestly, if she beats me, damn, I'm an amazing teacher.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I was like, and if I don't, if I beat her, well, that's just par for course.
Right.
And so I was able to hug her and she did great. And I was like emotional watching her. And then I had 5 minutes. There was another girl from a different category on, but I remember I was back there. I was like, okay, this is about me. This is about me doing this and getting the best run through.
Right.
I was competing against 11 people. So in my mind, I was like, I'm not getting a medal because I didn't have the highest tricks that there was.
Oh, so what you're saying is you were trying to lose before you even started.
No, it didn't matter. So I went on amazing.
Do they take score?
Yes.
It matters.
But it was an amazing run through. I felt amazing. I got the crowd involved. They were cheering and screaming for me. That's my favorite part is when the crowd gets in.
Yeah. And then you realize half your boob was out and you're like, oops, maybe that's why they were cheering.
No, but I learned, I was very excited that I had worn a nude thong underneath my shorts. Let's just say I was very grateful.
Hey, I guarantee you weren't the only one who was excited about that.
Let's be real. Always wear underwear underneath your costumes, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that should be a rule period.
Yeah,
always wear underwear.
Right? But sometimes your costumes are so small, you can't.
I feel,
but I made myself.
I feel that in my soul.
But regardless, so moral of the story was I had felt so fulfilled and completed by getting on stage and doing.
By just getting on stage.
And then the cherry on top of that, which was amazing, was I went out, the scores got posted, right? And the competition's still going on, but they post the scores every so often that they come up.
Oh, okay.
And my friend comes out, or my coach comes out. She's like, hey, they just posted scores. Do you want to go look? And I was like, okay. In my mind, I was like, I think I got a solid 5th place because I got to watch some of the other pieces.
And you're like, I'm so much better than her.
No, I was like, okay, well, my stage presence is better there, but their tricks are better, blah, blah, blah. So in my mind, I was like, 5th or 6th, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be right at the middle.
Right.
This would be a good way to come back into competition. And then one of my students who wasn't competing, who'd come to watch, she was at the score thing and she just looked at me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what happened?
Was I that bad?
Yeah, like that's what I had going in through my mind. Because she had like,
why do you always go so dark?
Well, because the look was not a happy look. It was like big eyes, like, oh, what's going on? So I go over it. And I didn't know at the time. My coach brought her phone out to record me. I had gotten 2nd place.
Yeah.
And I just started bawling because that was such like a validation of, no, I'm good at this.
I came back.
I came back.
Yeah,
and I came back stronger.
Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
Even after literally, you could have died.
Yeah.
You could have died. You could have had like some serious, not that you haven't had serious brain issues, but you could have had like some serious brain issues where you couldn't not just climb a pole, climb stairs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you did it.
So it was amazing. So what I found was you always have to, like when you're going to do these things, and it doesn't even have to be a competition. Like I said, maybe you're giving a speech at your friend's wedding.
No, oh my God. Like I just said, just again, friend of the show, Brian, just went to this concert.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like even the fact that you were like, I want to get up and I'm going to go do this thing. And this is something that I want to do and I'm going to do. That's so inspiring.
And so like on that thing, it's like you find something bigger than yourself. Even if it's like, I want to go do this thing for me. That's great. How can you make it a little bit bigger so it takes the pressure off you on a personal level? So it's not a failing if you somehow can't do it.
Right.
So maybe, so for Brian, it could have just been, it could be to show that he could do it.
Right.
But maybe, you know, instead of saying, well, I want to go, it could be, why would this be good for me to go?
Right.
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 Why would it be good for me to experience this? Because it will show that I can, because it will help me build my tolerance to stimuli, because I could meet so-and-so there and have a conversation. Like if you can reframe it just a little, we don't need to go too many degrees beyond yourself, but sometimes putting it just a little bit beyond you helps remove some of like the personal-ish around it.
Yeah. No, that's so awesome. You know what I'd like to do? I like to interview the girl that won. So I could say, hey, how does it feel beating someone with a brain injury?
Oh my God, that's so bad. Then how do you tell the people who came after me and say, how does it feel to lose to someone with a brain injury?
Oh, clearly they don't matter. You know, like Nelly said, 2 is not a winner and 3 nobody remembers.
Wow.
Right? So like how does it feel to slightly eke out a woman with a brain injury? Wow. Yeah? Does that feel good? Does it feel good, Sarah? I don't know what her name is. What's the chick's name? Do you remember?
I think it was a guy that beat me.
Really?
Yeah.
How does it feel to be, dude? All right. That's a whole other thing.
That's another conversation for another day.
No, but I think this is awesome. I think we got like some good tips and tricks out there.
Yeah. Like
a lot of it's mental.
It's mental and it's a little bit of preparation.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can have help, have help. You know what I mean? I have Felice and she's always there. She's like she's my handler. So I go where she tells me to go. And she like helps fill in a lot of the gaps and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you know, if you don't, you have this beautiful community of us, not just the NeuroNerds, but like us brain injury survivors.
Yep.
Like we're so helpful to one another. So if you're about to do this thing, reach out to like one of your fellow, you know, brain injury survivors and say, hey, this is something that I'm about to do. And this is how I'm feeling about it. And do you have any tips or tricks? If they don't, at least you have that moral support.
Exactly. Because even if someone doesn't have Lauren's having a brain moment.
Wait,
maybe they don't
have a brain thing?
Shut up. I can't think of the word in English. In Spanish, it's consejo. It is...
The sejo.
No, consejo.
No?
Consejo in English is... like to give an advice, a suggestion. There you go. Wow.
That was you know what? That's an awesome process. That gave like a little taste into like your mindset though.
Yeah.
You know
how I
have
to do it. Yeah.
Because you have it.
Yeah.
It's just in a different language.
Yeah. It took me, I was like, oh my God, what's it in English?
That's funny because like I have those moments, but it's not in a different language. It's just not there.
Yeah.
Like it's just somewhere else. And then after searching, it's like, oh, there it is.
Yep.
Sometimes it takes a lot longer than what just happened right there.
Oh, I have to like dance it out a little so I can like distract myself. I'm like, okay, what is it? And I have like maracas in my hand.
Yeah, Lauren's in a stone cold groove.
Yeah.
She remembers.
So even if they don't have an advice to give you that's maybe relevant, but they can at least be like, you know what? I don't know, but you know what? We support you.
Right. More power to you. You know, it's a beautiful thing, not only for you, but for everybody. You know, like if you want to think about something bigger, think about this community.
Yeah, because hello, we're all here to help.
Absolutely. Oh, like the NeuroNerds are here to help. We want to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Avid, for sponsoring the show and supporting us with amazing sounds. Big, huge, massive, giant Galactus size shout out to all our
thank you to our
patrons on Patreon. We love you guys. We really appreciate you. We couldn't do the show without you. And if you guys are enjoying the show, a brain injury or not, nerd or not, consider giving us a review
and a rating on iTunes.
It would be a big help because it would help us reach more people like you. And we are growing this community one survivor at a time or one nerd at a time, right? Or both. Yeah,
so
surviving.
Two.
Also, we want to thank the Gonna Geek Network because we're now part of the Gonna Geek Network. That's
Woo-hoo!
right. The NeuroNerds and the Gonna Geek people are one.
Yes.
Geeks and nerds together. What's going on?
Yes.
It's like the Kree and the Skrulls like chilling.
Yep.
Right?
We're going to cross lines.
Wait. Is that like crossing streams in Ghostbusters?
Maybe. I was thinking of a different type of crossing stream.
I was going to say, because, oh my God. I don't know how. This is going to end up with like a Stucky moment.
You want me to?
Fetch is not going to happen.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I wasn't going to, but I can. And on that note,
the NeuroNerds, as always, we're here to help. Reach out to me at Joso Rocks everywhere. Reach out to Lauren at Lauren L. Manzano.
I'm going to have to change mine to Stucky forever.
Reach out to us, the NeuroNerds. And on that beautiful note, these NeuroNerds are out.
Stucky is endgame.
NeuroNerds.